Iceberg chart, a visual representation that categorizes information or concepts into layers based on their level of obscurity or knowledge. Fortnite Battle Royale, the still running and possible king of Battle Royales and creating a fad for the next year and a half. Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite, probably didn't expect it to be as popular as it is today, with hundreds of collabs, thousands of skins, and thousands of updates. The game is still going on today, with January bringing Godzilla and Hatsune Miku, and
Monkey,
and February bringing Mortal Kombat and a human-sized pickle. They've also added Cowboy Bebop, a second wave of Invincible characters, a second Lara Croft, Clicks, Negan, Sabrina Carpenter, Adventure Time, The Undertaker and Cody Rhodes, a second wave of TMNT, an entire Star Wars season, Robin, a second Superman, Bruno Mars, again, Bob Belcher, Cleveland Brown, Hank Hill, and Squid Game.
Then Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White and Monty Python and the Holy Grail's Black Knight and Benito Mussolini and the Blue Meanie and Cowboy Curtis and John B. the
However, there are things that many people don't know about the game. There are also plenty of things people already know about Fortnite. This is an iceberg I made. However, I didn't make every part of it. I used several icebergs for inspiration, adding a few new entries as well. I will credit the original creators in the description. This iceberg is Fortnite related, of course, which consists of Battle Royale, Save the World, and the community itself. This video is part 1, as there are just too many entries in each tier. However, once all 3 parts are released, a supercut, with all 3 parts combined together, will be released. As for right now, let's look at tier 1. Save the World is the original version of Fortnite. Being the first and initial game created by Epic Games, it followed a team-based approach to a multiplayer game. In Save the World, you and 3 other teammates would complete mission tasks to save or defend the world. Save the World lasted from its alpha release when Fortnite was first created, all the way to June 29th of 2020, with update 13.2. Ray is the companion in the story of Save the World. Ray is the recent bot created by Dr. Vinderman to replace his previous assistant, Desiree. Ray is seen in the opening cinematic and mini mission quests of both the main game and seasonal events. Ray is voiced by Ashley Birch, who also voices Aloy in the Horizon games, Tiny Tina in Borderlands, and Miss Pauling in Team Fortress 2. Hey, this is just a little slip-in. Make sure you watch my Team Fortress 2 video when it releases. It's going to be very, very interesting. I promise you that. Please watch. Please, I beg of you. I need money. Blue Go is a blue substance used in several missions and other mini side quests in Save the World. Usually the use of them is to start objectives, like in Ride the Lightning or Storm Defense. However, they are also used in smaller side quest missions, like the speed, health, and build boost machines. The blue glow blobs spawn all over the map and can be obtained through both rift shards and whack-a-trolls. In Save the World, you play as the commander. As commander, you go out there and fight the hordes of husks. The commander also progresses the story further, with them saving survivors and removing the husk threats. In the end, the commander is the last chance for humanity, as they fight for extinction. Battle Royale is the second and most popular core game mode of Fortnite. Originally being created with assets of Save the World, Battle Royale was thought to be the second and less successful attempt of Fortnite. Surprisingly enough, Battle Royale blew up, becoming successful and becoming one of the most popular Battle Royale games ever, and spawned over 32 seasons. The third and somewhat successful mode of Fortnite was introduced in Season 7 back in 2018. Creative initially had a few presets and spawners in the first season, but over time they added more and more to the game mode. Now with thousands of different presets, maps can be made a little more complex and better designed as compared to when Creative first released. However, Creative 2.0 was released in 2023, which gave way for more creative maps and creativity. Fortnite has a total of 6 maps, for Battle Royale at the time of writing this script. Each map is named after a god, with Athena being Chapter 1, Artemis and Apollo being Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, Asteria being Chapter 4, Helios being Chapter 5, and Hermes being Chapter 6. Pickaxes are the main harvesting tool / weapon for all modes except for Festival and Rocket Racing. These items are usually two-handed single-stick pickaxes, dual-wielding pickaxes, or single-handed weapons. The most popular pickaxes are the Scythe, Bowstaff, Bats, and the Star One, which will be talked about later on in the third part of the iceberg. Fortnitemares is the annual Halloween event Fortnite holds every October. Each Fortnitemares event sees the map being updated to fit a more Halloween-themed environment, except for Season 4, Chapter 3. Many collab skins have been added during these events, like Alan Wake, Billy the Puppet, Loverface, Ash Williams, and Spider-Woman. Similar to Fortnitemares, Winterfest is the annual Christmas event Fortnite holds every December and early January. Unlike Fortnitemares though, Winterfest has a winter-themed map update along with the log cabin, unless it's Chapter 2 Season 5 or Chapter 5 Season 1. For 14 days, 14 free rewards are given to players, from banner icons to skins. For PC players, they also get a free skin like Brizzarella or Santa Guff. FNCS is a seasonal competitive event that takes place. FNCS is where the best of the best fight against each other to win prizes. The FNCS replaced the World Cup after years of no competitive events. With each chapter, a new movement or mechanic in general is added. With Chapter 2, swimming was added, allowing players to swim across the map. Chapter 3 added sliding, super sprint, and mantling, giving players more movement from both the low and high level. Chapter 4 gave players hurdling, the most bugged and one of the least used pieces of movement. Chapter 5 gave players both customizable weapons with different attachments to put on, as well as climbing, which overtook hurdling as the least used piece of movement. In Chapter 6, leaping from edges, a roll when landing, wall jumping, and wall scrambling were added. At this moment, it is unknown if some of these leaked / rumor movements, like rope swinging or hijacking, will ever be added next season, or will be completely scrapped. Rolling and wall jumps were removed during the Star Wars mini-season, and sadly will not return. The mythic goldfish is one of the strongest items in the game. Being only present during Chapter 2 as well as reload, the mythic goldfish does 250 damage, which will knock or eliminate any player that it hits. The chance of getting this item back in Chapter 2 was extremely low, with a 1 in 1 million chance to obtain this from fishing normally or in a fishing hole. However, if you miss your target, you most likely won't get it again, as it was a one-time use item. Missing your shot will leave you back to the lobby. In Season 5 of Fortnite, Epic Games nerfed every shotgun to have a small cooldown if switched between them. This effectively removed a beloved feature of the game nicknamed Double Pump. However, the Double Pump has returned in some form later on, mostly with the explosive lever action rifle in Chapter 4 Season 3. Double Pump, however, did return for Chapter 1 Season 1 of Fortnite OG, and is still available in the game as of writing the script. The Storm King is a powerful foe who has appeared in both Save the World and Battle Royale. The Storm King boss fight in Save the World sees the players fighting the king, destroying his horns. After this, more events in Save the World allowed players to obtain mythic weapons after defeating the Storm King. During the 2019 Fortnitemares event, during the Storm King LTM, players would do the exact same thing, but this time on the center island of Chapter 2. This entry means two different things. First, the Vault is the name of the endless void that originally held the 0 point, before it was removed during the Monster vs. Robot event. My theory is that this was the first version of the bridge, since the bridge usually holds the 0 point. This is also where the drum gun, planes, infinity sword, tactical SMG, bouncers, and grapplers were held. The other meaning is where items go after a season or chapter. Recently, items like swords and masks have been vaulted as the theme of the season changes. Quite often in Fortnite's life, there have been live events. The first of these live events was technically the Meteor event, which saw tiny meteors crashing onto the island. The first actual event was the Rocket event in Season 4, which saw the rocket at the villain base launch and eventually caused the creation of not only the Rift, but the entire Fortnite storyline. Several events of varying degrees and qualities have happened, which includes the Monster vs. Robot event of Season 9, the end event of Season X and its reboot, The Big Bang in Season OG, the Nexus War of Chapter 2 Season 4, and the not-so-popular Fracture event of Chapter 3 Season 4. The 0 Point is the most important thing in the Fortnite storyline. The 0 Point first appeared in Season 8 during the Unvaulting event. The next time it was seen was in Season 9, during the Monster vs. Robot event, where it was ripped out of the vault at Loot Lake by the monster and crushed to absorb its powers by the robot. It remained outside until the end of the chapter, where the 7 crashed the meteor into the 0 Point, causing the Black Hole event. After the end event, the 0 Point wouldn't be seen until Galactus ripped it out of the ground in Season 4 of Chapter 2. The 0 Point remained out until the beginning of Season 6, where the Foundation created a spire to trap and protect the 0 Point. The 0 Point remained both hidden and protected even after the last reality tried to suck it up. The 0 Point would remain hidden until Season 3 of Chapter 3, where it was in the water after the end of the Resistance fight against the IO. The 0 Point would also create the Chapter 4 map once the Chapter 3 map was destroyed by the Herald, but it was seemingly powerless at that point. After the OG season ended with the Big Bang, the 0 Point wouldn't be seen until Season 3 of Chapter 6, where it's back in the in-between area from Season 8. The loop is what allows the island to be used over and over again. The loop creates the games, and winners of the game escape the loop, creating a snapshot. The loop was created by the 0 Point and has been present on each island/map. The Zapatron is the first weapon to be added and removed from Fortnite. Back in Season 1, it was a care package item of only legendary rarity, and has a few videos of this version of the item. In Season 1 OG, it returned for a small period of time, taking sniper ammo instead of the energy ammo it originally took in Season 1 and in Save the World. But before that, it was teased and presented several times, most well known being the Imposters mode and the wait until Chapter 3. Midas is one of the most popular characters and skins in Fortnite's long list of skins. Midas was first teased in Chapter 2 Season 1, when the center island had a few golden items appear in the buildings before the season ended. In Season 2, Midas would become a main character, eventually being the one that causes the tsunami that flooded the island in Season 3, where he would die from a shark. Midas would have several skins appear, including a ghost skin, summer skin, and a suit of armor, and a fish. Midas would officially return in Chapter 5 Season 3, where he escapes the underworld and escapes with his crew. Midas would once again reappear in Chapter 6 Season 2, where he helps the criminals steal from Fletcher Kane, and now remains on the map for Season 3. The 7 are a group that fights against the IO. The first appearance of the 7 was in Season 4 with the Visitor. The Visitor is the reason for the Rocket Launch event in Season 4, which caused the Rift to be created. The 7 wouldn't return until Season 9, where Paradigm controlled the robot, but more info will be shared later on in this entry. Season X would see the Scientist and the Paradigm become skins and actually cause the end event. Season 6 of Chapter 2 saw John Jones call the Foundation down to help with the 0 Point crisis, where he would seal it up in the Spire. The 7 would return after being gone for a season in Chapter 2, where they helped the Loopers escape the corrupted Chapter 2 map, eventually leading into Chapter 3. The 7 grew in numbers in Season 2, when the Origin, the Imagined, and the Order became skins and helped the Loopers and the other members of the 7 fight and beat the IO. The Paradigm returns for the event, helping the Loopers during the event using the newly upgraded robot from Season 9. The 7 would later all be taken by Chrome, a creation of the last reality, leaving just the Paradigm to help the Loopers fight and eventually find them a new home. The 7 haven't been seen after this, but fans speculate that the Visitor in the OG Battle Pass for Season 4 is the same Visitor who was taken by the Chrome, but only time will tell. The last reality is a big part of the Fortnite storyline. They first appeared in Season 5 with Kevin the Cube, but did not officially make their appearance until Season 7 of Chapter 2. Sloan of the IO was helping the Loopers against the last reality in Operation Skyfire. Sloan tries to sacrifice the Loopers to prevent the last reality from coming any closer to the island, but this fails. The last reality had the Cube Queen roam and eventually corrupt most of the Chapter 2 map until the island was forced to flip. The last reality later sent the Herald, who successfully destroyed the island, and in a cut cinematic, the last reality would have tried to suck the 0 point up again, but it would destroy the ship. Just like the 7, the last reality is on the table to return later on in the storyline. Kevin is the name of the purple cube that roamed around the map in Chapter 1, Season 5. Coined by the community, Kevin has returned several times, first in Season 6 as part of the Floating Loot Lake Island, then in Season X with that same Loot Lake Island. In Chapter 2, Kevin returned during the Operation Skyfire event, where he turned a blue color, while the community learned the sinister history of Kevin. Kevin is part of the last reality, and Kevin isn't the only cube there. Hundreds of cubes are present on the mothership, and all of them, including the golden one, crash onto the map after the mothership blows up. Kevin the blue cube would later be destroyed in the end event, and Kevin the purple cube would return during the OG season and potentially return in Season 5 of OG Fortnite. The Imagined Order is a semi-big bad of Fortnite, from Chapter 2 Season 5 to Chapter 3 Season 2. The IO resided between the two islands of Apollo and Artemis, as they controlled everything. The first sighting of the IO was during the device event of Chapter 2 Season 2, when the Loopers teleported into John Jones's office. The IO's final appearance was during the Resistance War, where they would meet their defeat. The bunkers have been present on half of the maps. The first appeared in Wailing Woods in Season 4, which eventually transformed into a lab in Season 6. Chapter 2 is where the bunkers increased in number and were connected to the storyline. Every bunker is connected to the IO, as a way to get into there during hazardous events. We see this in the cinematics section of the Chapter 2 end event. The bunkers have returned in Chapter 6 Season 3, but for a different purpose. Now being used by Jones, Hope, and the other heroes, they contain loot, abilities, boons, and a rift to leave. Currently, as of writing this, it is unclear what specifically they will be used for, but it's possible that it could be used or tied to an event or the storyline. Sloan was one of the first named characters that wasn't a collab character to be introduced into Fortnite. Her first appearance was in Chapter 2 Season 6, where she's just a voice in Jones's earpiece. She returned in Season 7 to help the Loopers fight off the last reality forces. During the Skyfire event, she betrayed the Loopers, setting off the bombs that would eliminate the threat posed by the last reality. She would make her next appearance in the same cinematic sections that the bunkers were used in during the Chapter 2 end event. During the cinematics, she was torturing Jones until the Foundation, came to save him. She was presumed dead when the island flipped, but her and her IO forces would drill out during Chapter 3 Season 1, preparing for the war season. Season 2, Resistance, sees Sloan and the other forces of IO take over the island and prepare the Collider. During the event, Sloan would meet her end at the giant fist of the paradigm. Sloan was presumed dead until Chapter 4 Season 3, where it turns out she didn't die at all, and she's a good guy now. She helps Jones and the other Loopers in Season 4 get the teleporter from, who was that guy? Kato Thorne. Okay. After they steal the teleporter and kill Kato, she sends Jones back in time and is presumed fully dead since the Chapter 4 map was left to rot. As for right now, it is unknown if Sloane will make another appearance, since she hasn't appeared in Chapter 5 or 6 fully, only being drawn by Hope, but this could very well change. John Jonesy Jones is literally the main character of Fortnite. He makes up like half of the original skins. Okay, get ready for this section, cause there's a lot about Jones, and I do mean a lot. This is on my fucking script. This is a fucking page and a third. Jones's first real appearance was in Chapter 2, Season 2, during the Device Live event, where the loopers break in and out of the loop. Jones is later seen in the beginning cinematic for Season 5, where he goes on the hunt for bounty hunters to create chaos on the island, so he can fix the 0 point. After this fails, he contacts the Seven, breaking off from the IO and getting his shit kicked in by the Foundation. Jones and the Foundation successfully seal the 0 point, but between that opening season event and the cinematic section of Chapter 2's end event, Jones is captured by the IO. He is tortured and is saved by the Foundation. The island flips and everyone washes on the shores of Artemis. Jones joins the forces of the Seven and the Loopers against the IO in the war. During the Collider event, he tries to reckon with Sloane, before she then tries to kill them all, but she gets bonked by the giant robot right next to her. Jones and the Foundation jump into the 0 point to chase after Jenna, but him and the Imagined are kinda dead. After that little encounter, they return to the island and live happily ever after. What's this? Last reality. Chrome? The Herald? So the Seven are attacked by the Chrome, which leaves Jones, Amy, and the Paradigm. They try to figure out how to stop the Chrome and the Herald's actions, but both seem impossible, and Amy and Jones are fighting. They all manage to get off the island before it fucking explodes! The 0 point forms a new island, and then we don't hear from Jones until Sloane returns. With the island getting sick, Sloane decides to send Jones back in time to prevent their current state, and sends him back to Chapter 1, Season 5. Jones pulls a scientist and converts the Dusty Diva factory into a shuttle for the rocket, and sends that motherfucker and the meteor straight into the 0 point. The end 2.0! After that, we are brought to the new map, and Jones is now on a new mission. He needs to save his best friend, Peely! Jones and the Underground, led by Hope, managed to get Peely out safely. After saving Peely, Valeria, the head of the society, and sister to Hope, causes a Titan's hand to pop out of the ground, holding Pandora's box. Jones, Hope, Peely, and the other loopers get the trust of almost every god, except for Zeus, and all fight him. After his defeat, they try to get rid of Pandora's box, shooting lightning at it until it bounces away, creating Nitro and bringing in Megalodon. Jones and Hope managed to accidentally help in the destruction of the rig, which was really a mission by Dr. Doom! Fortnite. After Doom makes his presence known, Jones, Hope, Peely, and a crap ton of Marvel characters fight Mysterio, Emma Frost, and Doom. This is where I will mention a theory that a bunch of people had at this time. Many people believed Jones would die by the hands of Doom, mainly because of some dialogue his NPC had. That didn't happen, and we all defeated Doom without losing anyone. Jones and Hope would join the other loopers that left the island with them to go to Hermes. They help Kendo save his sister Jade from the spirit realm while Daigo loses his fucking shit. They help take down the Death Star and are currently battling Daigo's evil forces because he's tweaking. Hope is the protagonist of Chapter 5 and Chapter 6. Being introduced as the leader of the Underground, she helps Jones save that banana and tries to get her former friend and sister to leave the society. This doesn't work as Valeria used magic to bring the Titan's hand up and Oscar is nearly fucking turned into a carpet for Artemis. Oscar literally went into Lego Fortnite to escape the gods. Hope and the gang beat Zeus, destroy Pandora's box, and summon Megalodon. During this time, Hope was creating images, images that told of the future, a hooded figure in shadows, one that roamed the island for time to come. It was Doom. Hope gets a new outfit and joins Jones, Peely, and the other Marvel heroes in fighting the villains. During the Absolute Doom event, when it looks like Jones is about to get killed, Hope swoops in, grabs his shield, and deflects the beam Doom was going to turn Jones into a nice pile of dust with. Hope is grabbed by Doom, and with the burning bright shield in her hand, fucking bashes that shit into Doom's eye. After that bash, Hope's arm is pretty messed up, and eventually Doom is defeated, but not killed. Unlike Mysterio and Emma, Jones and Hope travel through universes, but while doing so, Hope leaves some messages for her sister. Yeah, it's not like your former friend was being hunted down by the gods and had to go into a fucking different game just to stay safe. Fucking, yeah. Good friend you are, Hope. Hope and Jones land on Hermes, the island, as demons have flooded the island due to a 0-point fragment. They help Kendo and save his sister Jade from the spirit realm, while also freeing the Night Rose from her demon-possessed form. Midas and the others fight Kane and his fucking tweaking-ass mask maker to get the 0-point shard back, but now Hope and Jones have to fight the Galactic Empire. After a long month, the Loopers, Hope, and Jones get onto the Death Star and successfully destroy it. After that motherfucker is back after being gone for a month and is tweaking hard! Hope and Jones create a superhero academy for those who got powers after the battle, and are now struggling to keep the dark forces at bay as Daigo and his spirit creations corrupt more of the map, and eventually, Supernova Academy falls. There have been 2 Marvel seasons, each containing dozens of collabs. The first Marvel collab was in Chapter 1, Season 4, with the Thanos event. I only played it once because I was shit at the game. Still am. A year later, in Season 8, a new game mode dropped with a team-based focus, along with 2 new skins. Star-Lord and the original Black Widow dropped, and that was it until Chapter 2, Season 2. Deadpool and the other X-Force members were added, and Deadpool got his own POI. 2 seasons later, we got our first Marvel season. After that, Marvel became a frequent collaborator with Fortnite, with Carnage, Venom 2021, Spider-Man, and many more characters being added. Fortnite has also had many collabs with other companies and sources of media. Companies like Star Wars, DC, and Disney have had characters added to Fortnite. Movies like Terminator, Predator, Alien, and Free Guy have had skins and emotes added. Hell, other games had their characters added, like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Resident Evil, Horizon, God of War, and Halo. Across Fortnite's lifetime, there have been dozens of collab POIs. In Chapter 1, Season X, Athena had 2 POIs, that being Borderlands Pandora and DC's fucking Gotham. With Chapter 2, Season 2, we had the Yacht, which was taken over by Deadpool during Week 7. Later in the year, Doom's Domain and Stark Industries arrived in Season 4. In December of 2020, the Mandalorian crashed onto the map, but it was not deemed an actual POI. In Chapter 3, Season 1, Spider-Man and the Daily Bugle were placed onto the map on Day 1, later being removed and replaced with Lazy Lagoon in Season 3. Surprisingly, after the Daily Bugle, we wouldn't have another POI collab until Chapter 5, Season 3 with Shipwreck Shallows, a collaboration with Pirates of the Caribbean. During the second Marvel season, which was after Season 3, Doom took over the top of the map, with Doomstrad, Castle Doom, and Doom's Courtyard being present, along with the raft. In the remix season, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Ice Spice got named POIs, that being the Dog Pound, Spaghetti Grotto, and Ice Isle. There were no collab POIs when Godzilla was added, but were added when Mortal Kombat was added. In Season 2, we got The Pit, Deadpool, and Living Force for Mortal Kombat, each designed very well and mixed the tones of Fortnite and Mortal Kombat perfectly. Then we got the Star Wars season. This season brought the Resistance Base, Outpost Enclave, the First Order Base, and Vader Samurai's Solitude, which also brought with it a very, interesting AI. With Season 3, the Fortress of Solitude was added. Reality Zero is the fixed point of the 0 point. From Chapter 1 to Chapter 4, it was the main center point of the map and storyline. Reality Zero stopped existing 3 times. First during the end event of Chapter 1, then the island was destroyed in the Chapter 3 live event, and was officially pronounced dead in Chapter 4 as the 0 point began to die, leaving the island to rot. In mid-2020, Fortnite changed the prices of their items, making them cheaper and more affordable. On the Apple market, they added a system to directly pay Fortnite instead of going through Apple, which began a legal battle between the two companies. During the court trial, hashtag Free Fortnite became popular, but faded out when it seemed like Fortnite had lost the battle. However, it turns out that the court trial was going on for quite some time after that, officially ending in 2025 when Fortnite was added back to the US Apple stores. V-Bucks is the currency used to make purchases in Fortnite. From battle passes to item shop cosmetics, V-Bucks can be used on anything. In Save the World, V-Bucks were made by Dr. Vinderman, who created several things within Fortnite. Creative 2.0 was the biggest update to creative maps. UEFN would allow map creators to have more creativity on their projects, importing models and making cutscenes for their maps. As of recently, Fortnite has added many BR mythics to UEFN, like the Ninja Turtles weapons, and added some that haven't been added to BR, like The Walking Dead. Hashtag Save the World started popping up when Fortnite released Update 13.20. In Update 13.20, they announced that they will be limiting the updates for Save the World, ending the campaign and effectively stopping development. This started the movement to save the World, but at the time of writing this, Save the World has officially ended, with a few updates here and there. The 100,000 health ice cream trucks were originally present all around the map in the first few seasons of Chapter 1. Eventually, all of them were changed to being a normal amount until Season 4 added the Dusty Divot truck. This is the last ice cream truck to have the obscure amount of health, as no more were ever added. Between 2018 and 2021, China had its own version of Fortnite. Fortress Night, as it's also known as, was the China-made version of Fortnite, operated by both Epic Games and Tencent Games. This version of Fortnite had many differences between it and its globally available version, with time limits, free V-Bucks, unique cosmetics, and censored skins. The most well-known censorship in Chinese Fortnite was Mystique's backbling from Chapter 2 Season 4, where it originally was a golden skull. In the Chinese version, it was turned into a very shiny golden ball. Travis Scott, the music artist, is one of the most requested skins to return in Fortnite. In Chapter 2 Season 2, the Astroworld live event occurred, which saw millions of people watch it, and even 5 years later, is still seen as the most popular Fortnite live event ever. After the Astroworld incident happened, Travis's skins haven't returned, but Tim Sweeney confirmed that he's welcomed to return. Hopefully he does return with a new skin and music tracks. Frost Night is a wave survival game mode in Save the World. In Frost Night, players must keep a furnace burning with blue glow while also defending it from husks. This game mode returns every December with the Winterfest event and is one of the few game modes outside of the core missions to be added, the other being the Storm King fights. Arenas was the first attempt at a ranked system in Fortnite. Being present from 2018 all the way to 2023, Arenas was seen as the best way to play competitively. Arenas would be removed and replaced with the official ranked playlist for every core game mode in Update 24.4. Season delays occurred in the first 2 seasons of Chapter 2. Chapter 2's launch was a long one, with Season 1 lasting from October 15th, 2019 and ending on February 19th, 2020. Season 2 began on February 20th and ended on June 16th. both seasons almost being a year in length. Season 3 ended this with only being a few months long. However, the reason for the delays is confusing. Season 1 being the length that it was is weird, since there was no events that could have caused it, but Season 2 was faced by Galactus eating the Earth and causing the world to be shut down on March 13th, 2020. See, I had to censor it because YouTube doesn't like that word. Hit the Road is another Save the World event. In these missions, players must escort Lars' truck with another NPC being present. These characters could be Crackshot, Penny, Quinn, and Beatbot. Who the fuck is Beatbot? These missions are usually not always the same every time, with some playthroughs having you save survivors in a mine or destroy nests at a military base. Fortnite in real life is simply just that. There are many, and I do mean many, Fortnite items in real life. From Nerf guns to one-to-one replicas, there are an endless amount of Fortnite cosmetics and items. Hell, just last year we got our first Fortnite Lego sets. Now we just gotta wait for the official Fortnite fast food chain to open up. The Fox Clan is a group that is present during some of the Fortnite seasons. The group's first 2 appearances weren't their official appearances, as it only involves 2 members of the clan. Drift was added back in 2018, and Catalyst was added in 2019. The group wouldn't be fully developed and named until Chapter 2 Season 5, with the release of Vi. The group has had a few more members introduced, but the group as a whole haven't been too important to the storyline. Currently, they are enemies towards Jade, since they didn't help her when she was stuck in the spirit realm, like they were some kind of superhero squad. I'm kidding, they're like a police faction, I guess, I don't know. Midas dies in the cinematic trailer for Chapter 2 Season 3. In the cinematic, he is eaten by a shark, and many people believed he would return. His return was teased several times, both with Shadow Midas in Season 4 and 8, and Midas Rex in Season 4. Midas wouldn't officially return until Season 2 of Chapter 5, where he breaks out of the underworld and escapes the island with his crew. After the 7 were attacked by the crew, it was presumed that they were all dead. However, it was confirmed by an evil version of Amy that they were all still alive and being tortured. Roll the clip!
He's different now. They're all different now. As we speak, they change. I didn't think I left the ominous warnings mod installed. It scopes his existence anew. A fate darker than the worst imaginable. Wait, what? Are you talking about... No. You can't be. You'll find him. But will you get there in time to save him? The test rift locked onto the scientist, and something horrible is happening to him. What could be darker than the worst fate imaginable? The second that gate is online, I need to be ready to use it, to find him, before it's too late.
This also plays into the end of the 7 entry from Tier 1, where people believe that the visitor in the Battle Pass is the same one who was originally attacked by the last reality, out and running from them. Chrome is the substance that the Herald used against the 7 and the island itself. Gameplay-wise, the Chrome acted very similar to the sand tunneling mechanic from Chapter 2 Season 5, and honestly, was just as buggy. Some skins would just straight up become invisible, break, or glitch out completely. The Chrome has not returned in both the storyline and in gameplay since 2020, and probably will never return unless we get a Chapter 3 Season 4 OG. Steel Wool is a fictional rock band in the Fortnite universe, consisting of Lars, Sid, Anthony, and Carlos. Lars of Steel Wool is one of the crucial characters in the storyline and has both a mission and an event involving him. Anthony, Carlos, and Sid all use skin models from Season 4 and 5 of Fortnite, with Lars being added as a skin in Chapter 2 Season 7. With this entry, I went to where I first heard of God Rolls, which was from Karka's Save the World Iceberg, which you should totally check out. God Rolls were fully RNG based, since this was before you could change what perks your gun had. The rarest God Roll effect was 2 elemental damage effects. This feature was replaced with the current form of perks in Update 13.30. Chapter 5 Season 2 saw the Greek gods be added to the map. In Update 29.20, Epic Games and Fortnite decided to remove rarities on cosmetics from the game, which definitely split the community in half. Then there was the issue of event limited time skins and emotes returning to the item shop, and eventually both the Psycho Bandit and Yellow Jacket skins returned. It seems like Fortnite is slowly removing rare and exclusive skins, which is a 180 from what they had before. You know what, Chapter 5 was just very controversial all around. Season 3 was one of the most controversial seasons Fortnite has ever had. Many people weren't interested in the idea of a Mad Max-inspired season. When the season dropped, hundreds of people complained about the modifications cars and SUVs had. The season and cars divided the community in half, with some of them in favor of the season and cars, and the other half not. Eventually, the mini-season Battle Pass would do a 180 with the theme, adding Pirates of the Caribbean to the game. Eventually, it came out that there was supposed to be a Mad Max collab in Fortnite, but was scrapped, making the season utterly pointless. The World Cup was the biggest Fortnite tournament ever hosted. During this event, dozens of creators participated to win the $3 million prize. In the end, Booga would win the solo tournament, with Nifrox and Aqua winning the Duo Cup. During this event window, one exclusive skin and an exclusive edit style for Fish Stick were released, and haven't returned ever since. Now Fortnite hosts FNCS, which seems to have replaced the World Cup in competitive tournaments. In Chapter 2, Season 3, Fortnite went in and removed every police car on the map. This was due to the Black Lives Matter movement of June and July of 2020. Ever since they were removed, they haven't been added to normal maps, but they might have been added back into the OG seasons. Vendor Tech is the fictional company behind pretty much everything in Fortnite, from the currency to the supply drops and even the battle bus. Vendor Tech is where Ray was created and where the storm shields that combat the storms originated from. Dr. Barrymore J. Vinderman was the creator of both Ray and the Vendor Tech company. He was responsible for the creations and research of many different items, like the storm shields, blue glow, and some of the weapons. Vinderman's partner, Desiree, was helping him along the journey until she left him and the company, which resulted in the creation of Ray. Dr. Vinderman would later die, but before he died he created an AI copy of himself, who was now available as the skin in Battle Royale starting in Chapter 5, Season 2. X-ray tickets were added once legal issues involving the gambling methods of llamas were removed. Originally, llamas in Save the World were purchased with V-Bucks, but due to many companies implementing laws against the loot box system, Epic Games replaced the method with the X-ray tickets. They were first added in Update 9.4, but only for non-founder members. In Update 20, they were changed to be the main form of currency when buying llamas, and were in higher mass for the Stonewood main quests. X-ray tickets can be earned by doing daily quests, storm shield defenses, mission alerts, hold the door, and toxic treasures. The Chrome Husky, as it's officially known as, is a variant of the default Husky. Chrome Huskies appeared during the Blockbuster and Flannel Falls events of Save the World. The difference between the normal Husky and the Chrome Husky is that the Chrome Husky can revive itself when knocked. It also has a chrome color to it, and burning red eyes. This is not even scripted, I'm just saying that. It can be knocked several times before it fully dies. The Chrome Husky will not spawn if every member on the team has the mission Magnets completed. Weather was an object and system in use during Chapter 3 Season 1 and partially in Chapter 3 Season 4. Weather events could occur on the map, like tornadoes and thunderstorms. Tornadoes can suck objects and people up, throwing the objects around while giving the players a redeploy. Thunderstorms would damage players if struck by lightning, but give them a speed boost. Both were removed after the season ended, but the tornadoes returned for Season 4. Editor's note: tornadoes did actually return in Season 3, and were updated to have an icon show on the map. In Season 4, the tornadoes were now converted into chrome tornadoes, but did the exact same thing as they did before. Other events have been added, but not to the full scale as tornadoes and thunderstorms, like fog, blizzards, and rain. Several skins have never been released over Fortnite's 8-year lifespan. The first of these skins is Gemini, a futuristic skin with a bunny head. This skin was scrapped due to how much it looked like a skin from Paladins, and was turned into Astro Assassin. The second and most well-known unreleased skin is Brilliant Bomber. Brilliant Bomber was a skin featured in the first Ideas free subscription service. Being instead of a monthly use thing, it would have been a yearly thing, and would have cost V-Bucks instead of money from mommy's credit card. Character_Troublemaker was only seen in a pack bundle, and has never been added, mostly due to the negativity people had towards this skin. Sidelander Commander and Spiral Specialist are two very interesting skins, since they are, no joke, two already existing skins. Sidelander Commander is Striped Soldier, and Spiral Specialist is Whistle Warrior. Now these next two skins are interesting in their own way, mainly due to them not having a reason for not releasing. Melody Mars and Rosetta Tigress are two skins sitting in the files or scrapped skins. There is no reason for them to not be released, but there could be reasons. Melody Mars is the counterpart to Port Kahale. I butchered that name, I apologize. And Rosetta Tigress is just a reskin of the default Tigress skin. Those are just some of the unreleased skins, but there are many more. Geno is the leader and creator of the Imagined Order, and father to the Imagined and the Order. It is confirmed that early on, Geno put his daughters into a loop and expected them to win, but he wasn't proud of their performance, ultimately replacing them with stronger snapshots. Geno was first introduced in Chapter 2 Season 6 during the opening cinematic. He was just mentioned, but he wouldn't be fully introduced until the Marvel X Fortnite comic. During the comic, Geno hires Dr. Doom, out of all people, to help him and the Imagined Order get rid of the Seven, even his daughters. During the final battle, Geno and his daughters, along with Wolverine, fight. The Imagined, sacrificing herself, falls into the 0 point with her father, and later Jones and the Foundation join them. Alright, this is an actual me moment. I'm looking at the script. I literally could not find it. And that one image of the guy like looking at the paper, squinting, trying to look at it, that was literally just me at that moment. When the second duo caught up, they saw Geno and the Imagined slowly dissolving. At the end of the comic, Geno would later reconstruct himself in a different reality. Geno wouldn't fully appear again, but a younger version of him would. In Chapter 4 Season 1, the Ageless was added. The Ageless is the leader of the Oathbound, and is believed to be the original version of the IO. Geno hasn't returned since, but it's likely that he'll eventually return, somewhere else in reality. Klombo was a dinosaur-like creature added to Fortnite in Chapter 3 Season 1. Klombos would eat clomberries that were thrown either near them or at them. If fed enough clomberries, they will sneeze out loot for the player, giving them a weapon, ammo, or materials. If a player were to be on their head, they would be shot up and allowed to use their glider again. When attacked, Klombos would charge at the player and shoot acid balls at them. Klombos were removed from the game at the start of Season 2, but were slowly added back as hibernation nests. Sadly, in Season 3, Klombos would be fully removed, with only a skeleton of one being on the map. Klombos would return in Chapter 5 Season 4 in LEGO Fortnite. They act pretty much the same, and the player can actually ride them, which was something that the player could only somewhat do when they were in Battle Royale. The Nothing is a cosmic force that was created before reality itself. It embodies pure nothingness, and is the counterpart to the 0 point. It is somewhat believed that the Nothing is the cosmic power and leader of the last reality. It's also believed that it created the Storm, Chrome, and the Husks. The first appearance of the Nothing was in Chapter 3 Season 4, as a menacing voice calling out to Bytes within a Chrome television. It calls out to him.
We see you're finally prepared to face your fate. But first, you must prove yourself. The same forces that will destroy the others will raise you up. Will you continue? You do not question who we are, or why we have chosen you. Is it because you already know? Your lack of fear is encouraging. Are you willing to give yourself to the unknown? We know your thoughts, how you feel different now, hollow and afraid. But under that is something new, a growing hunger. Will you continue? You are the first in generations to survive this journey, but there is more to come. You are capable, but we're seeking a warrior. Will you continue? You feel your identity slipping away. Do not resist. You will be rewarded. To continue past this point is to lose everything you knew and everything you were. Will you continue? You've finally let go. Good. Let us continue. This is your last chance. Proceed, and your fate will forever echo within hours. You made the right choice, but then again, you can't stop, can you? Your true journey begins now. Claim the ultimate prize. Be always vigilant. When we have need of you, you will be summoned.
The Nothing had chosen Bite after he completed trials, turning his hands into that of chrome. This is the only appearance of the Nothing, but it could return if the last reality returns. The hexagon-tiled storm was the first version of the storm in both Save the World and in Battle Royale. The hexagon-shaped storm was replaced in Season 1 with the current lined storm. So essentially, I will mention a few weapons that were in the trailers that were added later on, as well as a real example of a gun added later on. Since Chapter 2, Season 4, a gun or a few guns have been featured in trailers. Some of these items consist of the Iron Man Mythic, Lever Action Rifle, Grapple Bow, Grabatron, Dual Fiend Hunters, Spider-Man Mythic, Anvil Rocket Launcher, Ripsaw Launcher, Explosive Goo Gun, Falcon Scout, Lock-On Pistol, Mammoth Pistol, Shieldbreaker EMP, Flowberry Fizz, Banana of the Gods, Tow Hook Cannon, Stark Industries Energy Rifle, Godzilla Mythic, Pump and Dump, and the Storm Beast. The other weapons teased before release was the current version of the Zapatron, Flare Gun, and the Machine Pistols. The Zapatron, despite being added to the game back in Season 1, was teased through the Imposters game mode and the downtime for Chapter 3. The Flare Gun was teased all the way back in Season 9, with a short, Desert Island Flare, Fortnite Block Party Short. In the short, Castaway Jonesy grabbed a flare and accidentally shot down a battle bus. Both Castaway Jonesy and the flare gun would later be released in Chapter 2 Season 3. The machine pistols were accidentally added several times to the game before releasing in Chapter 3 Season 1 as the machine SMG. Some of the mythic leaders that you can obtain in Save the World are based off of real people or people in media. Some examples of these characters are Joe Bow being John Rambo, Steve Sobs being Steve Jobs, Cara Loft being Lara Croft, Amy Dearhart being Amelia Earhart, Ned Legstrom being Neil Armstrong, and Alfred Weinstein being Albert Einstein. Alter, more well known as Shadow, is a faction made up of criminals, mercenaries, and full of espionage. Shadow is one of the two divisions created by Midas, the other being Ghost. Shadow first appeared in Chapter 2 Season 1 as Alter, and consisted of agents like Vex, Fusion, Toxin, Chick, Hazard, Riptide, Scratch, Chaos Agent, and Serana. The faction grew over the next few seasons, with Meowscles, Tiny Tina, Brutus, Kit, and Jules being added. Shadow also had some creations, like the Sludge Army and Big Chuggus. In Chapter 5 Season 2, Shadow returned, along with its head, Midas. In Chapter 5 Season Remix, we were introduced to two new members, Meowdus and Chaos Director. Ego, also known as Ghost, is pretty much the same thing as Shadow, a faction made up of criminals, mercenaries, and full of espionage. Ghost is the other division created by Midas and his crew. Ghost first appeared in Chapter 2 Season 1 as Ego, and consisted of agents like Journey, Turk, Ripley, 8-Ball, Remedy, Cameo, and Zev. Yeah, I think that's how you say his name. Just like Shadow, Ghost would get new members over the next season, like Meowscles, Sky, Brutus, Agent Peely, Ocean, and fucking Deadpool. Ghost returned in Chapter 5 Season 2 alongside Shadow, as both divisions tried to successfully rescue their creator, Midas, from the underworld. It is pretty much confirmed that the dragon eggs in Polar Peak are the hybrids. In Season 7, while the Fire King was breaking out, several eggs with dragons in them were present. Once he left and started causing earthquakes, the eggs went with him. In Season 8, the eggs would be found in the volcano, near the Fire King's throne. In a loading screen, it shows the hybrids jumping away from the Fire King, pretty much confirming the connection. Bud the Mushroom was first added in Chapter 2 Season 2. Bud would be found in the Wailing Woods area on the map. When given 100 wood, Bud would follow the player and heal them for 10 minutes. Unless he was killed or the player was eliminated, Bud would return in Chapter 2 Season 8 with a second Bud. These two Buds could be found at Matt Cap's barn, but they would heal the player anymore, instead dancing with them if the player were to dance. Bud the Mushroom has not returned since, and most likely will not return due to the obscure nature he was. The Golden Mushroom, or Golden Truffle as they are apparently called, were added to the map in Chapter 2 Season 3. The Golden Truffle had a 1 in 10,000 chance of being found and could give the player max shield upon consumption. Picking the truffle up would remove this feature, as it would turn back into a normal mushroom. The player had a better chance of getting the Golden Mushroom than the mythic goldfish. It's unknown what happened to the clones of the Imagined and the Order. Before the events of Fortnite, their father, Geno, decided to test them, putting them into the loop to see how they fared. When he wasn't satisfied, he replaced them with the stronger snapshots. I speculate Geno might have killed the stronger snapshots, or the snapshots were killed during the war. But it is possible that the snapshots are still out there, waiting for their father to return. There's a theory in the Fortnite community that Oro and Midas are one and the same. Both Midas and Oro were added in the same season, and both had a lot of similarities in their designs. Both skins are golden. No shit! And both skins have a scar on their right eye. Hell, even Oro's set name is Midas's Revenge. This theory is pretty much confirmed due to the idea of snapshots, which means that Aurella and Marigold could also be one and the same as well. Amy is an AI created by the scientist. Amy first appeared in Chapter 3, Season 3, and didn't do too much in that season, not gonna lie. In Season 4, she actually became very important to the storyline, as she, Jones, and the Paradigm try to stop the Chrome and save the other members of the Seven. While trying to solve both issues, she and Jones gets into a lot of bickering, but eventually they try to get work done. When the island explodes and the 0 point creates anew, she tries once more to find the scientist. She sends a fragment of herself into Stellan's rift gate, hoping that it could work. Once the fragment comes out, she finds out just what is happening to the scientist and the other members of the Seven.
He's different now. They're all different now. As we speak, they changed its scope, his existence anew. A fate darker than the worst imaginable. You'll find him. But will you get there in time to save him?
Once she finds out about this dark revelation, she tries to find them herself, slapping herself onto AIM. The big surprise, not gonna lie. She tells her goodbyes and goes to find the scientist, trying to save him. At this moment in time, she has not returned, but it is very likely that she might return once she finds the scientist, or the new corrupted version of him. Fortnite Friday was a community-hosted tournament event that would occur every Friday, created by fucking Keemstar of all people and UMG Gaming. These tournaments would have had the content creators compete against each other. Fortnite Friday lasted only during early 2018, as Fortnite would later host their own tournaments later that year in Season 6. Since the first real summer event, most of them have been in a decline in quality. The first three, 2019, 2020, and 2021's, were the best ones, with many map changes and skins being added. The first in decline in summer events was 2022's No Sweat Summer. There were many things expected, like a concert and skateboards, but neither of these were added. 2023's Summer Escape is arguably the worst summer event Fortnite has ever had. There were a total of 4 skins that actually fit the theme of summer, little to no items or map changes to the map, and just boring all around. 2024's Summer Road Trip was very controversial, just like the rest of Chapter 5, with the addition of the Cybertruck. 2025's Summer Event, 14 Days of Summer, and Party Up events actually added some decent cosmetics and were actually interesting events and rewards included. But the event is not as good as the first 3 summer events. In Season 4, Fortnite thought it was a good idea to add the challenge, search 7 chests at Risky Reels. You know, the tiny movie theater on the map? Absolute chaos would break out as dozens of people would land at Risky, with a little percent of them actually getting a chest. This challenge returned in Season 4 OG, and I presume that it was just as chaotic the second time around.